damn, what was I doing? And the way you start doing that is every single day. You win the tiniest battles every single day. You don't feel like getting up, get up. You don't feel like reading, read 5 pages. You don't feel like sleeping in on time, throw your phone across the room. Do whatever you have to do to make the changes stick. Boom! What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Don Uncensored, channel where we talk about tips, tricks, and knowledge as we go through our self-improvement journey. I'm back! What's up? It's been a little minute. It's been a while. I had to come back and regain my confidence, remember exactly who I am, remember the fact that I am a conqueror, remember I'm the leader of the conquerors, remember exactly who I was. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the greatest lessons that being lazy has taught me. Let's get into it. So, number one, the first thing that it taught me was change. Now, I talk about change all the time. I talk about how change in your life is only made by one person. It's made by you. It's made by everything that you do, and it's made by every single choice that you make. And for the last 2.5 weeks that I've been lazy, I was in a pit of just not doing the work that I needed, doing a whole bunch of bullshit, eating like bull, doing a whole bunch of other things, going to sleep late, not prioritizing my sleep, not prioritizing my water intake, my macronutrients, everything was just out of whack. I was just out of equilibrium, right? I was out of my state that I was locked into. And the one thing that it made me realize was that change is quite literally, like I preach it to you all, made every single day by the actions and the habits that you take. I stopped reading for a while, and I love reading. I've been a reader since I was little. I was finishing Harry Potter books by the age of 7 years old, okay? 600-page books, I was flying through them because that's all I had to do. I love reading, and the fact that I was willing to not read showed me how much that I was putting pleasure over my passions, putting pleasure over my purpose. I was putting the right amount of effort into the wrong things. So then I was creating the wrong type of change that I wanted inside of my life, right? So if you look at your life and you kind of want to see multiple parts of it where you're telling yourself, I feel like I can be doing better. What was I doing before that was making me so locked in? I promise you, there's probably something that's either come into your life or there's something that you're doing where you're starting to prioritize it more than you're actually prioritizing your passions, more than you're actually prioritizing your purpose. So I promise you, the easiest way that you can do is you can sit down and you can literally write out all of the things that you've been thinking about or all the things that you have been doing. And from that list, I promise you, you're going to start seeing clarity, because as you start putting pen to paper, as you start writing down your words, as you start allowing yourself to be able to put all of the ideas that are inside of your head into paper, you can look at it and you can see, okay, which one of these things have been actually deteriorating me? Which one of these things have been pulling me further away from my purpose? Which one of these things have not actually been pushing me to become better, but have been pushing me to go backwards and go back to the way that I came and undo all of the progress that I was doing? You have to ask yourself that question. But I promise you, being lazy will teach you that as soon as you're done being lazy, you'll sit back there and you'll be like, damn, what was I doing? Because again, change only comes from you. You are the only person who can change. And the way you start doing that is every single day. You win the tiniest battles every single day. You don't feel like getting up, get up. You don't feel like reading, read 5 pages. You don't feel like sleeping in on time, throw your phone across the room. Do whatever you have to do to make the changes stick. But I promise you, it's those tiny little battles. It's those tiny little wars you gotta fight inside of your mind. If you want to make change inside of your life, the first thing that you should be doing is writing all of the things down, seeing exactly what's been pushing you away or towards your purpose, right? X out all the things that have been taking you away from your purpose. And then after all of that is done, right, another thing I want you to do is start changing all of your habits that you've been doing. If you went from reading 10 pages to not reading at all, read 30 pages in a day. Force yourself to do the hard task. Force yourself to do the hard task, because that's really when your brain is going to say, okay, we're getting back into that mode. I have to change. I have to go back to the way that I was. We can no longer keep putting pleasure over, our purpose. We have to do what has to get done. Number 2, you stay the same. Now, this goes hand in hand. I love the way that everything kind of works whenever you notice these things. Because you're being lazy, you're actually having a lack of change. Because you're having that lack of change, guess where it spirals down into? You actually staying the same inside of your life. Isn't that crazy how all of that works? See, if there's no change or no change that's going in a positive direction in your life, what you're actually going to be having is either you're going to stay the same, you're going to stay in the most complacent spot inside of your life, or number 2, you're actually going to go backwards and you're going to start making your life even harder than it has to be because you're chasing the wrong things. That's all it is. You've been sitting here trying to not change in positive ways, and you've been going backwards. You've been putting pleasure over your purpose. You've been putting pleasures over your passions and your dreams and the goals that you have. And because of that, you've been making the wrong type of change, which makes you actually still stay the same fundamentally, because inside you still haven't changed anything else about yourself. But it's just the habits that you're doing are now pushing you pushing you much backwards than you need to be. And a lot of times, again, it's really easy, because the easiest way to notice if you've stayed the same is just measure yourself in a month-to-month basis. If you are like me, what I want you to do from this video, open up the App Store, open Google Calendar, and make out a Google Calendar with your list of every single task you have to do. I don't care how minute it is. You gotta walk the dog, put it on there. You plant plants, you gotta water your plants, put it on there. Feed the dog, feed the cat, put it on there. You need to have your wake up, your reading, your deep work, your workouts, your meal times, everything. Put it out into a calendar. Put it into a schedule and follow that schedule month to month. Follow it every single day and see if you've gotten better. See how many days that you won. See how many battles that you won. See how many days where you completed every single task that would move the needle forward. That is exactly how you go from staying as a person who stays at the 99% to a person who becomes the 1%, right? You can be the 1% in your own age group. As you get older, it becomes harder to. So the younger you start and the earlier you start, the more ahead you get. So why are you trying to stay the same as all of your other friends who are broke, and you're trying to become a person who's rich, right? But you're still doing all the broke things that all of these people were doing. Guess what all these broke people were doing? Not tracking anything. They weren't trying to become better. You're trying to become better. You're trying to get out of this. You're trying to stop. You don't want to learn these lessons. You want to know why? I don't want you to learn these lessons, because these lessons involve you being lazy. I don't need you being lazy. I need you to work. I need you to get it done. I need you to chase your purpose. So with that being said, stop staying the same. Get a Google Calendar, list out all your tasks, do them every single day and track it every single day and see how many days you've won. Then by the end of the month, you're actually going to tell yourself, oh my God, this month has been the most productive month of my life. And I wonder why. Maybe it's because instead of sitting on your ass like a dweeb and sitting there watching Netflix for the last 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, you're binging Grey's Anatomy when you know damn well you have a paper that's due, or you have a work assignment that's due, or you should be working on your business, and you're sitting here watching Netflix shows for the last 12 hours. I promise you, once you switch your worldview, once you tell yourself, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to stay in that same realm of change. I'm not going to stay the same that I've been for the last 30, 40, 50, 60, however long you've been alive. I'm not going to stay that same way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change myself. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to start tracking all of the tasks I need to. I'm going to write out the most important tasks of my day. I'm going to put them on a calendar and track them out. And I promise you, once you do that, you're going to be golden. Because guess what? Everybody's going to look at you like you're crazy. But guess what? You're doing everything that you know you need to do. You know what's so crazy? All of the greatest thinkers, inventors, artists, musicians, every single person who made a change in the world of history has always been called crazy because of either the ideals, the morals, the actions, or the habits they had. If you want to become one of those people, you have to change the way that you are. You have to change the way. You can't stay the same as the average 99%er. You have to become somebody entirely different. You have to become somebody entirely new. You have to create a new identity that is completely away from the 99%er version of you. So I promise you, if you want to start seeing change in your life and you want to stop staying the same, write everything out into a Google Calendar, track it, and see how many days you won. You'll see how many tiny battles you won, and you'll see how much change you made by the end of the month. Number 2, you become comfort content. Now, what does this mean? Now, going down the jumps of change, we go change. If you're not changing, you're going to stay the same. Because you're staying the same, you are actually content with comfort. Now, what does that mean? Now, if we break out the word content, content means that you are okay with something. It means you are okay with what you have. That means you are okay with chasing comfortability. That means you are okay with chasing the things that make you comfortable, aka chasing the thing that made you stay the same for the last 30 odd something years, for the last 40 odd something years, for the last 20 odd something years, 60, 70, 80, 100, 3,000. I don't care how old you are watching this video. You have stayed the same because of the fact that you've been so content with the comfortability. You've been so content in chasing comfort instead of chasing adversity and chasing different skill sets that you've actually stayed the same. And that's the biggest thing. Either you're a man or you're a woman. The biggest thing that you can provide to anybody in your life is being adversity proof. Listen, communication, all of that matters. But if you cannot get the fucking storm thrown at you and you cannot weather out the storm properly, and you cannot weather out the storm every single time, I promise you, you won't have any value to anybody inside of your life. You will not bring value to any place that you walk into, because you cannot take the brunt force. You cannot take the punches that life gets you. And I promise you, life punches pretty fucking hard. So if you cannot get back up, guess what? You're going to stay defeated. You're going to stay the person who stays the same, who doesn't go through change, and you're actually going to be content with the comfortability that you've been in. You're going to be content with that life, even though you want a better car. You're driving around a 2003 Honda Accord, but you want a Bentley Bentayga, right? You want a Rolls Royce. You want a Phantom, right? You want a Lamborghini Urus. You want all of these nice cars. You want a Chiron. You want a Koenigsegg. You want all of these nice cars, but you're still driving the same 2002 Honda Accord. You want to know why? Because your work ethic hasn't changed. You've been content with the work ethic that you've had. You've been content with what you've been given, because it's okay, because it's allowing you to survive. So the fact that you're looking for something that's going to take you away from that and push you towards comfortability means that you're actually trying to run away from that skill set and those lessons that adversity and that pain is going to try and teach you. So what are you doing? You're going towards the comfortability because you don't want to change. You don't want to change. You want to stay the same, so that way you can still be being content with comfort, so that way you can still stay the same, so that way you don't need to change, so that way you can still live the life that you've been living, the life that you absolutely hate every single day, waking up, having to wake up, go to a 9 to 5, clock in for somebody else, tell this person when you're taking lunch, have your lunch be timed, not being able to go on vacation when you want to, not being able to take weekends off, not being paid as much as you know you're worth, etc., etc., etc. I can go on and on and on. You understand how bad your life is, but yet you've been chasing comfortability for so long. That's all you know. That's all you know. And that's all you've ever gonna know, unless you decide to change. Unless, again, if we decide to change, first of all, you're gonna have to change your mindset. But if you want to stop staying the same, again, Google Calendar, write out your tasks, write out your list, track them every single day, see how many days you won, and stop being comfort content. Flip it. Be adversity content. Be okay with adversity. Be okay with the problems. Be okay with the pain. Be okay with the problems and the punches that are going to come from life. You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay, because guess what? Life is not easy. Life is hard. You think the immigrant who just got deported is not crying their ass off right now? You think that dad who just had to watch his son die, or got the call that their child just died, or the mom or dad who just had their other children or their siblings just die, or they just had some traumatic experience in life, guess what? If these people are strong, they're going to get through it. They're going to keep going. They're going to realize how much power they have inside of themselves. But if they want to be comfort content, they're going to run away from it every single day, and they're not going to deal with it properly. And then, guess what? They're going to die with regrets in their life. You want to know why they're going to die with regrets? Because they were chasing comfortability too much. You've been chasing comfortability too much. You've been chasing comfortability too much. You need to stop chasing it. You keep trying to become a person who is above everybody else. You want to be away from the 99%. You don't want to be that person. You want to be as far away from that as possible. But yet you're still doing the same things that the 99% and the same average person, the same average you were doing. How does that make sense? Make it make sense to me. It doesn't. It doesn't, and it never will. So stop chasing comfort. Start chasing something different. Start chasing adversity. Start chasing pain. Build yourself up. Build your tolerance. Become better. Lastly, it disrupts your worldview. Now, how does being comfort content disrupt your worldview? Again, it's so crazy how everything kind of just coincides and, goes down and trickles down and becomes worse. So let me explain to you, right, exactly why it's so bad and why being lazy will actually change you and make you more comfort content, will make you not want to change, make you stay the same, and then that will disrupt your worldview. The reason why it disrupts your worldview, very simply, you're going to start seeing that everything that people have who have worked hard for, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be like, oh, no, they got that for free. Or, no, they had a better position than me. The only reason I've not been able to get anything I want is because, the world, you're pointing all the other fingers at somebody, but guess what, brother? Every single time you point a finger at somebody else, there's about 4 of them staring right back at you. It's so crazy. There's 3 of these motherfuckers. You point one finger, you point a finger at somebody, there's 3 of these hoes pointing back at you. Guess what the problem is? You. You've been the problem. But guess what? Your worldview is so discomfort and so discombobulated by chasing comfort, the laziness, and not chasing any of these things. You're not chasing pain. You're not chasing adversity. You're not chasing new skill sets. You're not chasing new challenges, new problems in life to solve. You're not trying to do any of that. You're trying to just stay the same so that way you can live a life that's okay, that's mediocre, because you're okay with that and you don't really want to take the risk to see how big life can get, and you're not okay with, falling on your face a couple hundred times, because that's going to happen in life. Right? You're just okay with the fact that you've been given what you've given, and you're gonna stay in your little bubble. You're gonna stay like this, like a bitch, and you're gonna stay like this, just huddled up, while me and all my other people in Conquerors Academy become better and better, and we make more money, and we have better lives, and we start becoming better. Guess what? If you want to stay that way, go ahead. Stay in this exact same chain of laziness. Do these exact same things. Because guess what? I was doing it, and then guess one thing I realized. Oh my God, wait. I'm actually a person who's running like a whole academy of people who are actually trying to become 1%ers. Why am I the leader of that, becoming a person who's lazy? That makes no sense, right? So not only does that not make sense, I then saw everything in my life start going downhill, and then I was like, I wonder why it's going downhill. Oh wait, maybe because I'm trying to be lazy, because I'm trying to actually not do any of this. I'm not trying to change. I'm not trying to stay the same. I'm not trying to be comfort content, and I'm not trying to disrupt my worldview. Guess what I was doing in that time when I was being lazy? That's all I was doing, right? I was just not changing. I was just, staying the same. I was just being comfort content, and I was just, disrupting my worldview every single day, telling myself, damn, that person really only got rich because they were giving it to them, or damn, they really only got successful because X, Y, and Z. They got lucky. Guess what, brother? Luck is not a thing. You know what is a thing? Hard work. Technically, luck is, but timing really is what matters. Good timing with a strong work ethic, and you're bound to go up in any type of field. No matter if it takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 8 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 day, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever else it might be. Everybody's time frame is different. But I promise you, just stop disrupting your worldview. Stop being a person who is the same as everybody else, who looks at life in this one-sided lens, not realizing that the only time you've ever actually decided to change has never. You've just never decided to change. And that's why exactly everything in your life has stayed the same. That's exactly why you've been so comfort content. And that's exactly why your worldview is so skewed and you're depressed and you're not actually trying to take any challenges. That's exactly why. You're trying not to be a conqueror. You're trying to be a peasant. And that's okay. If you want to be a peasant, be a peasant. But if you want to join Conquerors Academy, be fucking ready to work. I hope you know that. Be ready to work. Be ready to be somebody who's actually going to work and become better. Because I don't raise peasants. I'll take a peasant and make him a conqueror, but that peasant has to have the work ethic and the drive and the ability to become a conqueror. If you want to be a peasant with a peasant work ethic, don't even try and apply. Don't even reach out. I promise you. Stay the same. Stay that exact same way. I want all of my conquerors to learn from me. Learn these lessons that being lazy has taught me, and learn and become better than that, because I want y'all to be better than that, because y'all are conquerors. Y'all are my people. So I'm going to make sure you're better, and you're going to be better than me. You're going to be better than everybody else. You're going to be better than who you were yesterday. That's the most important part. You're going to be better than who you were yesterday. So learn these lessons, become better, conquer all of these, and you'll conquer everything in life. Be a conqueror.